if you're into gaming and you watch gaming news, you've seen that Nintendo has pretty much fumbled the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2. And while yes, it's going to sell a lot, and yes, there was also a lot of misinformation that there was going to be $90 games, a $10 increase on Nintendo games for $80, $87 plus tax is insane. And anybody who tells you any different is also insane. I think Nintendo has fully entered the kind of Pokemon of like them, of her saying like if you can't afford it,
Look, if you're a broke boy, just say so.
they've entered fully into that era, and we are starting to see that. Much so that Nintendo America CEO came out and said there is a reason why we have the Nintendo Switch. That is for the people who can't afford the Nintendo Switch 2, pretty much justifying the price of what is the Nintendo Switch 2. Keep in mind, people keep using inflation as a reason as to why it's more expensive. If you take the price of the Nintendo Switch from when it came out and you apply inflation to all the way now, it would be $394, not $450. So like, even if you're going by that metric, this is an overpriced console, and it is kind of gouging the customers by nickeling and diming them, especially having something like what was Astrobot. Was essentially, it was a lot of love put into it in order for you to show like what the PlayStation 5 is, and Nintendo's pretty much doing the same thing but charging you $7 for it. And I understand people are like, oh, you can't afford $7, but like, to include a game that's basically a manual to show you how the game is, like how the console is a little scummy. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little scummy. And I find it fascinating that there's so many people trying to defend Nintendo's decision and what they've done, and them not backtracking. A lot of people are also using inflation as a reason as to why Nintendo is raising the prices, but at the same time, Nintendo has come out to admit that these prices did not affect them in making the decision with tariffs. The tariff decision is coming later, and it's almost like Nintendo was caught off guard, or at least pretending to be caught off guard when it comes to the tariffs, because they're saying they had no idea that things like this would happen, which I kind of find it hard to believe, considering the type of company that Nintendo is, that they wouldn't kind of prepare in the future for this. Like, this is something that they should know, and more than likely do know. And I think the final reason to why this feels so scummy and so wrong is because of the fact that when you look at Nintendo games, whether you think they're innovative, whether you think that they're kind of different from the rest of the landscape of AAA games, their games don't nearly cost as much to make as other AAA games. Mario Kart 8, the last Mario Kart that came out before Mario Kart World, made 75 million copies sell, which was almost quadruple or 1,000 times of what, and guess how much the production was to make that game. It was $20 million. And because of that, I can't justify a Mario game that costs $20 million to make, that has no voice acting, that more than likely doesn't have current gen standards, and they want you to pay $450 plus $80 for some games, and $69 for a game that is upgrading the original game that never went on sale on the Nintendo Switch for me to be able to buy it for a deal. Like, I can't justify that. I can't do that. And for the people that are trying to justify it, how does it feel to defend Nintendo for free? I hope they at least send you a Nintendo Switch 2. I hope that they at least give you some vouchers for their $80 Super Mario World game. Like, Super Mario Kart Racing World, or whatever the hell it's called. Because it's messed up that a lot of these content creators are so out of touch with their user base, not understanding that, hey, like, $80 is like eating. And like, I know a lot of people are gonna say, well, this has always been an expensive hobby, and like, if you can't do it, it's not for everybody if you can't afford it. And like, bro, that was the entire point of why gaming became so successful in the first place. You didn't have to pay $80 for a cartridge, or go spend like $5 on one game at an arcade to be able to play. Like, it was more convenient. It was better for everybody. Video games have always thrived and have always done better when it's cheaper, not when it's more expensive. And I think this is an overall sickness with business in general. Like, just because you don't make X 1,000 profit in your next video game doesn't necessarily mean it's not successful, doesn't necessarily mean that you're not growing. It just means that's what that IP is worth. And to make matters worse, even when they are successful, they smack us in the face and be like, pay $80 because the last Super Mario was sold 75 million copies and we want to make more money from you. And people defend them for that. It's kind of insane. And a lot of the things that Nintendo are doing recently are kind of extremely shocking, but at the same time not surprising because of the fact that it's Nintendo. This is something I will, out of all three companies, I am not surprised that Nintendo is doing this. I am surprised that they're raising their prices. I would have thought they would have done something else scummy, but raising their prices in games wasn't on my bingo cards, especially after they had just raised it once. And then raising it again in the next generation is a little scummy. Let me know what you think in the comment section. What do you think of Nintendo doing? How do you think that the gaming community is going to react? I think that the Nintendo Switch is initially going to sell out, and then it's going to slowly slow down in software sales and with sales in general. But we'll see. You never know with gamers. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Do you think you're going to buy it or not? And remember, you're pretty good.